All right. I'm excited because we got a good man in studio, Jason Redman, co-owner of New Age Health and Wellness. Damn, your graphic looks really good.
That was my glamour shots photo.
It looks good, man.
It does look good. I like it.
You did really well. Kathy helping Steve Strick normally in on Wednesdays around 8:30 when we talk real estate. You don't know real estate and mortgage too, do you?
No, I bought a house. I've sold a couple. That's about as far as I go.
Figured I didn't know if you learned like just being around them, you're going to give advice. By the way, that first GOP debate, August 23rd, we appreciate that, Mayor. We appreciate your live interaction with this podcast, which separates it and makes it as good as it is. Jason Redman in now with New Age. We've had so much popularity, at least on this show, not only throughout the St. Louis area, but throughout the country when people are listening, jumping in, having questions regarding, wait a second, what are these shots? How can we lose weight? How can we be healthy? What can we do from this standpoint? And then I find out that we have an opportunity to have you on. Lizzie and Steve have been in Vegas. Are they back from Vegas yet?
Not quite. I think Kathy's out there doing big things still.
That's a real estate conference, right?
That's what I heard, yeah.
Okay, hopefully they get some really good advice and hope things in St. Louis. Then Lizzie tells me today she's going to be in at the Ladue Clinic. When is that going to be?
The 18th, a week from Friday. So I think that's the 18th. I'm coming in. You guys are going to fix me all up.
Saw that on the schedule. I'm excited.
Yes.
What's wrong that you think you need to get fixed up, that you need to go to New Age?
I don't know. I just want to find out. Because I'm sure there's a lot. So I want the whole blood work done, all of it.
Can you start there, Jason? And because Lizzie's, I don't know, I'm going to find out because I've been told you can really be living better.
Yeah, we do a few things over the counter, but most of our treatment plans start with the blood panel. And if we'll get into the hype around some of the drugs that are out there right now and the misinformation on them. But yeah, we start with a very hormone-specific blood panel to dive into what might be driving some of these symptoms as we age, right? And then once that comes back, we bring you back about a week later. We'll sit down with the team and they'll have a plan in place to basically take the symptoms that you've told us on your intake form that you're dealing with, compared to your blood work, and we'll show you how we can optimize your levels to help alleviate some of those symptoms.
That's great. And I've heard Kathy talk about once you get to our age, and I'm in mid 50s, and I still feel like I'm 30 in a lot of cases because I have a lot of energy already, but I want to feel like I'm in my 20s. I want a lot more energy than I even have.
Yeah, energy levels are a huge one. I think there's this misconception that as we age, we just have to take on some of these side effects. Mm-hmm. And what we do at our clinic is really try to help educate. That's not the case. By optimizing your hormone levels, by helping you maybe lose some weight, whatever your struggles independently are, we've got a fix for most of it.
Talk about your experiences too, because you have certainly undergone a transformation over the years as well.
Yeah, at 6'4", I've always been the tall, thin guy. My friends would call me skinny fat when we were younger because I always played sports, but I just carried weight in weird places. And when you elongate it over this frame, it just was frustrating. Sure. For years in my 30s, I was in the gym 4 or 5 days a week. I was eating healthy. I was doing all the right things, and my body just wasn't responding. And then I would pair that with the fatigue, the lack of sleep. I think the thing that really pushed me over the edge was, I think I was about 36, 37, and I started waking up at about 4:30 in the morning every night. I have to go to the bathroom. My mind would be wandering. Take me an hour or so to kind of shut it back down, and then I'm back up again in 2 hours. And that was so frustrating. And I was at a tattoo shop talking to one of my friends, and he said, talk to this guy. He knows about this hormone stuff. And I'm thinking this is like a black market, back alley conversation.
Right. How long ago was this?
This was about 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was 38 at the time. He turned me on to a friend of his that had a clinic similar to ours. And I went in and got my blood work done and found out that my testosterone levels at 38 years old were that of a 70-year-old man.
Oh, wow. Is that why you were not sleeping throughout the night and all of that? As many of us have that problem?
Yeah. The hormone imbalance was a big one. I was deficient in vitamin D. I was deficient in B12. A lot of things that help stimulate energy and help with that circadian rhythm and things at night. Within, I don't know, for me, 3 to 4 months, I felt like a different human. It was so eye-opening. And I was in the car business and working those long hours and things of that nature. So for me, it was getting my sleep back. And then the best way I can put it is testosterone in men, it makes effort feel good. So you have all this energy all of a sudden and you want to do something with it. So
you do.
I've talked in the gym. Yeah.
No, I've told people about getting my own shots over there. You got to get back on those from that standpoint. Yeah. Linda says she has an appointment on O'Fallon today. So she is jumping in there.
Yeah.
Nicole Jenkins, co-host of our show, who comes in. Nicole, I know you deal with tons of customers. I don't know if you know who Nicole is.
Yes, I see the names. I know the faces.
Nicole was on here bragging, promoting New Age as well just a couple of weeks ago. Lizzie's got her appointment set next week. Robert asked a question. I know this. I'm looking. Robert says he lives in Michigan. What about remote customers, telehealth? What can you guys offer? What kind of advice would you have for Robert?
Yeah, so we partnered with LabCorp. They're one of the nationwide blood labs. And so for a remote patient, there are a handful of states that our pharmacies just don't ship to. But for a remote patient, we would set you up with a requisition through our blood lab. You can go to the nearest one by you, do that panel. They'll send us the results. We'll schedule a Zoom meeting with our team, and we can actually treat you remotely.
It goes so fast.
Great.
Talking with Jason Redman, co-owner of New Age Health Wellness. They've got a location in Ladue. They have one in O'Fallon, Illinois. We're told you've got one or two coming to the Kansas City area before the end of the year, and maybe Lake St. Louis.
Yeah, Lake St. Louis is probably going to be it's going to be the next one. So that's
excited
about
that one.
Coming out west.
We've talked to Steve and Kathy before about the shots when it comes to, quote, losing weight or helping. If you're there, you're in it every day.
Right.
They've spoken about you being more the expert because you're the hands-on guy. You've devoted your life to this. What kind of information can you give people, again, when it comes to the shots? What kind of expectations? And does it vary from person to person?
It does. Everything we do is a personalized approach. So the struggles that you may have and what's causing that weight to stick to you might be different than somebody else. But I think what you're referring to is semaglutide and all the hype around this particular peptide therapy. There's a lot of weight loss fads that have come and gone over the years. This is one that oddly was derived from a venom in a lizard, if that makes you feel any better about it. But
wow.
Yeah, it was a diabetic drug. The side effect was people were losing a lot of weight. So now obesity is being reclassified as a disease, and this drug is being made available on the market with certain qualifications. But it is, if you follow our directions and you live a somewhat responsible lifestyle, meaning get out and move your body during the day, eat somewhat responsibly, this treatment has worked on every patient that I've worked with that has just followed the directions. It's a once a week injection, subcutaneous, so it's a very small insulin-style shot given in the belly. Very easy to administer yourself, or you can come to the clinic once a week. It's a stair-step dose, so it allows your body to get used to the drug. And right as you kind of maybe are plateauing a little bit, we increase the dose. And that works month over month. And we're finding, it's a fun little science project because everybody's bodies respond differently. But we just posted something on our Instagram if you want to check that out. We have a very,
Instagram where? What would you look for?
New Age Health Wellness.
Okay, same thing. Okay, gotcha.
Yes, sir. But we have a patient, and she's very public about her success, but she's had 4 kids. They're all football players, if that gives you an idea. She carries a bigger frame, and she's always been a little insecure about her weight. She started on hormone therapy. We layered in the glutide. She's down 52 pounds.
Wow.
Looks phenomenal.
In what time frame, Jason?
So she's been a patient for a year, but she's only been on the weight loss therapy for about 6 months.
Now, is that in combination with working out and a diet as well?
This particular patient, I wouldn't say is not in the gym 5-6 days a week. Maybe 2 to 3 days she gets in some kind of outside of her normal routine activity. She is a responsible eater, so not taking in a lot of sugars or carbs, things of that nature. But for the most part, no, she just keeps an eye on what she's doing, what she's putting in her body, and she tries to move her body at least once.
Are you allowed to say an age? I know you're not saying a name.
She is 41.
Okay.
She's 41. I have another patient who's a friend from high school just reached out, and him and his wife is a retired Navy officer, and they both started on hormone therapy with us. And the results they're getting, this guy's 42 years old and he's riding in BMX competitions now and sending pictures of his medals. And yeah, so back to the weight loss, it works for just about every patient. Now, some people will lose 10, 12 pounds in the first month. A cousin of mine, it took her 4 months before she lost her first pound. She's lost 37 pounds since. So it really just depends on where your body's going to respond to the drug.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Talking with Jason Redman, co-owner of New Age Health and Wellness. I'm curious, and this is something that Sarah said, because maybe I wasn't into the whole food plant-based diet enough, but that, along with regular exercise and reducing stress, is the way to increase your testosterone. I felt like I was doing that before I came into you guys too, and it just, my testosterone was not raising. I was not increasing it. I would think that in combination with shots would help too. What is your advice from that whole question standpoint, in my perspective?
For how to regulate your hormones naturally?
Yeah, naturally. Does it work in combination with shots, or have you seen super success stories just by diet? And
no, because some of it's just genetics. I'm a great example of somebody who was active, played sports my entire life, and for whatever reason, my body just stopped producing testosterone at the level that it needed to. Now, I will tell you, one of the scary things we're seeing right now is a lot of young patients coming in their 20s, and they're seeing depleted testosterone levels.
How the hell does that happen?
All the studies are pointing towards the plastics antibiotics in the water that we're drinking, the factory farming and taking all the nutrients out of the food. And it's really just driving those natural
that makes
testosterone
sense.
Yeah,
production
that does
down.
make sense.
That's scary, though.
It really is. It really is. Young kids, and they're 22, 23, 24, and the same questions I have. What's wrong with me? Why do I feel this way? And some of them may still be in late stages of puberty at that age. 21, you should be out of it, but who knows? Yeah. And so, yeah, it's a little frustrating there, but that's why we start with the blood panel. It answers a lot of questions, and I pass that over to the professionals when we get to that point.
You sound like a professional from that standpoint, sir. Hey, we had another question, and I don't even know if this is something that is in your league or out of it, but I'm trying to go back and find it. Just said, how can you verify privacy of results if you're sending them lab results if they're going out of state?
So the patient would go to the LabCorp facility. They would have their blood drawn there, and then electronically that would dump into our electronic medical records. So that's all HIPAA compliant, will come straight to us.
Correct. Very
okay.
good.
So there is no emailing or passing of data that way. So
I've had a couple people say, okay, if I have to get a shot every week, does that hurt? Because there's people that are scared of needles. But Jamie, who is one of our listeners, has already had her blood panel and had her very first
injection.
Really? Yeah. Wait, another one already?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah. A lot of our people are going, or at least getting ready to set up appointments. And she said it was no big deal. It didn't hurt. And I'm one of those people that's squeamish, but not enough that I don't want to go and find out my panels and all of that. She said it's no big deal.
Here's the thing about our business model. Needles are not sexy. Doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how you
Right. Needles are not sexy.
They're not sexy. But the misconception is there's two different types of injections that we deal with. An intramuscular, which has to go to the muscle. So deltoid, glute. And then there's subcutaneous injections. So a very small, almost like 1/4 inch insulin style needle. And that goes just underneath the skin. So those are administered usually in the belly or the fatty part of the arm. And yes, anyone can do it to themselves. It's not fun the first time, but once you realize that there is no pain involved with it, it's a very easy thing to administer yourself if you're interested in doing so.
Right. I'm not sure I want to administer myself, but can I have one of my kids or my husband do it?
For sure. Or you can come to the clinic once, whatever's convenient for you. We teach, we have educational videos on our website. We have a lot of different avenues to get comfortable within that.
Makes sense.
We've got to do more coverage of this situation with younger people coming in.
Yes.
That blows my mind. Is that both? That's not men and women, is it? Because I know women are just realizing that, oh my God, there are situations where we need testosterone.
For sure. Yeah.
And we've talked about it on the show, Success with Kathy, who said that it's been nothing but a godsend for her. And then I'm starting to hear about other women realizing that they need testosterone.
Yeah, men and women both carry estrogen and testosterone. It's just the levels are flipped, right? We produce and need a lot more testosterone. Women need a very small amount, but what it does to the body is amazing. My wife is one of the best examples. She's 39. She won't like me saying that, but she started on hormone therapy about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And she said it felt like a fog was lifted off of her. She struggled with anxiety.
A beautiful woman. So if she listens, she needs to stop that.
Yeah.
So she makes 39 look like 29. So she needs to stop.
Yeah. And I think that's a great testament to the work she's putting in, but also to the treatment. And that fog, that mental clarity is a piece that I think we get caught up sometimes in the aesthetics of your body, but it's really your mind too, right? And you guys are in here all day. You want to be sharp. You want to be focused. It helps with that mental clarity.
Terry asks, can you ask Jason how much the panel and consultation cost? Some of us need to save for this or may think that they need to save for it.
So when we started the New Age, we were working with an insurance company and it was exhausting. It was just, you see the bad, somebody pulls the curtain back and you see the ugly side of insurance. So we went to a cash pay, a customer pay model. And then we worked with our blood lab to drive the most competitive pricing kind of in St. Louis. It's a $150 one-time fee for your blood panel. And that's all inclusive. That's the consultation. That's the meeting with our team. That's everything.
You get a lot for that.
Yes, sir.
That's a good, so hopefully that answers your question from that standpoint. Eddie says testosterone's been dropping in men for 60 years.
Yeah.
Have you seen that stat? And if so, once again, it just goes to what our environment, it would almost seem to think, and I'm not, you got to get testosterone. You got to do this. But how do you combat what we're dealing with in society? I'm a big believer in the diet, and I've been learning a lot, listening and reading some of Sarah's quotes too about diet. If you look at society in a whole, a lot of us are moving a lot less. There's a lot less blue collar workers. People are podcasting. They're behind cameras. They're working from home. So, your body produces and your heart rate actually influences your testosterone production. So when you're a lot more of a stagnant population, you're going to see these levels fall over time.
Yes. And I even think that in schools, little boys are encouraged to sit in their chair. And this starts very early, preschool, kindergarten, first grade, something like that. They're no longer allowed to wrestle and all that. So it's literally coming earlier and earlier that kids have to, little boys are made to just be complacent.
I remember a question I wanted to ask you from earlier in the show. You said that when you first had your blood work done, you were in your 30s.
I was 38 at the time.
And you had testosterone that was equivalent to a man that would be average in their 70s.
Yes.
Do you remember what that number was for people? Is that
so
hundreds?
It's a nanogram per deciliter scale. The primary care physicians will tell you that a 400 level is an industry standard for someone at my age. I was a 180.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So bottom of the barrel, and I was basically a walking dead man at that point, and relatively healthy. It didn't take a whole lot for me to really turn it around. And my weight hasn't changed that much, only about a 5 or 8 pound, but the way that I wear it is completely different now.
It is interesting, some of these things that come up. Another question, if you start, what happens if you stop? And and what advice would you give for people from that standpoint?
So if we're speaking hormones specifically, so weight loss, obviously there's a target, right? There's I want to get to this weight, and we're gonna talk to you about the healthy decision of that weight, and then we're gonna taper you off of that drug as you get and help you control the cravings once you come off of the treatment. Hormone therapy is more of a lifelong investment in your health, because what's going to happen is we're going to optimize those levels. We're going to get you feeling 25 again. And then if you're on it for a couple of years and you choose to come off for whatever reason, your body just slowly reverts back to its natural production. So it's not like you're harming your body. You're not supplementing with the testosterone or whatever the hormone is that we're working with. And your body just revert back to its natural level.
We have so many people commenting on here, and I'm going to try to get to their comments because they're going. One of the things that Dawn wanted to know, and Kathy has talked about it before, one of the side effects, and I just want to make that clear, it's really not that big of a one, is that when you take a woman and you take the testosterone, you might get more facial hair. So you may have to get a tweezers. Is that one of the side effects?
Yeah, hair growth in men and women. I had a patient the other day who gets his shots, alternates in his deltoids, and he said, I feel like I'm getting some hair growth on my shoulders where I hadn't before. So it is, I guess, an unfortunate side effect, but what I tell patients is there's different ways to address a lot of those side effects, and they're far more easy to rectify than feeling like you're 70 years old.
Right, that makes sense.
So the trade-off usually outweighs the side effect.
I would think so too. Yeah. And Heather on the chat line said where she is at, they have a clinic. I don't know if it's New Age, but when she did it and she tried to use insurance, so just to tell people cash pay is better, it ended up to be more money than cash pay. And I know that from when we were employed at our preschool. At one point, we lost our insurance. So it was easier to do cash pay than it was insurance. And often the insurance copay and then the deductible was more anyway. And so what you're telling us is it's probably going to be around $100, $150, that sort of a thing. And I do know that Kathy said if you go in and say that you listen to Cancel This, you'll get a little discount.
Well, we can let the listeners know if they mention this, they'll get $50 off that blood panel. So it's just a $100 flat fee.
Yes,
absolutely.
They do.
Absolutely.
So it's $150 is what I was told too. But if you go in and mention Cancel This, they'll give you $50 off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dan, we got to start promoting that as well. We have a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think we've had 5 or 6 people in the last couple of weeks who have gone in and done certain things and promoting it. By the way, if you have any questions, need any questions answered, you go to newagehealthwellness.com. 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 You're there at the Ladue location a ton, right?
Yeah, I'm the day-to-day ops guy there. My background is in processes, and that's where my passion lies. I hate that I'm as good at it as I am, but my OCD doesn't let me go any other way. So yeah, I'm there. I'm trying to bring the face and the personality to the business and really make it a doctor's office visit that you can look forward to. That's great. That's the most rewarding part of this career that I didn't really anticipate, was that people are coming through our doors because they want to feel better, proactive.
Yes.
It's not a reactive thing necessarily.
That's
it's not
great.
They're coming in with their arm hanging off.
Have you heard people complain about semaglutide, or not complain, but in maybe media stories, situations like that? Because it seems every time something comes out, it's, oh, this is good for you. Oh, this is not good. Oh, this is going to cause you to feel better. Oh, this is going to cause cancer. Have you heard some of those stories as well?
Yeah, I think that's around every drug that's on the market, right? There's responsible users, there's proper ways to administer things, and then there's those that kind of go rogue. And what we're seeing right now is chiropractic offices that are offering semaglutide because they carry a nurse practitioner on their staff. They're not doing blood work. They're just administering this drug to patients.
Then how would you know what to give?
100%. And there's contraindications in people's blood work that says this is not the right treatment for you because of these levels. And if you're not paying attention to that, it can be dangerous. You could hurt somebody. But yes, we start with the blood panel with every patient, and no exceptions there. And then the question was the side effects. So really, we've heard of things like Ozempic face in the media, and that's where patients are losing so much weight so fast. We try to offset any of that. A good, I guess, weight reduction would be anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds a month. If you can maintain that kind of pace for a few months, your body will respond accordingly. If you're supplementing your diet with high protein, if you're doing a little bit of resistance training, you know, you didn't get to this point overnight. You're not going to get healthy overnight, and you got to put some work in along with it. The drug, the way I present it to our patients is, if you build the fire, this is the fuel. But you got to build the fire. You got to want to better your body. So yes, you can come in and take the treatment and you will lose weight, but you may carry some loose looking if you don't offset that with some resistance training and moving your body actively. But outside of that, the only other negative side effects we've heard is patients that have decided to go cold turkey off of it, and then those cravings come rushing back. So what we've done at our clinic is we've actually put together a maintenance package. So once you've reached your target goal, we slowly start backing you down off the maintenance dose to a lower maintenance dose. And we leave you on that where we find a dose where you're not losing any more weight, but you're also eliminating those cravings.
Real quick, one more question before we let you go today.
Sure.
What kind of credentials do people who work in your facility have? For example, it's, Jason sounds great. He looks the part. He sounds the part. How can we trust that we're being taken care of if we go to New Age?
We are a full-blown doctor's office. We have a medical director who's an MD. We have a nurse practitioner that works with the doctor to put together the treatment plans. We have medical assistants and registered nurses on site. I am the only one in the building non-medical, and I'm the first person to tell you that. So I'm not there to provide medical advice. I'm there to educate you on the treatments that we offer, and then I pass you on to our medical
You're the
staff.
business end that makes the whole operation, and every operation has to have that head person that maybe isn't medical, but understands how to run the business end.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Jason, we appreciate your time. Great segment. This is fun, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I know this was thrown on you, but people like you. Certainly we have to try to get you back. And we're grateful for your time. Once again, newagehealthwellness.com, newagehealthwellness.com. 2 facilities throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area right now, one in Ladue, one in O'Fallon, Illinois, one coming to Lake St. Louis, more coming to the Kansas City area. But once again, if you're out of state, you can still give them a call, correct? And you can advise them on how to do that from a telehealth standpoint. Jason, good time, man.
Likewise.
Loved it.
Appreciate you having us.
New Age Health Wellness.
All right.
And maybe we can have you make some graphics for us too. That one looks pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Happy to help.
All right, Jason, we'll see you later, buddy.
Right,
Take it easy.
There.